All right. I guess that was my sound check. I cleared my windpipe. Sorry about that. All right. Get everything together here so I can see. Everything sounds like it's supposed to sound like, right? I guess that was my sound check. Okay. It sounds like it is. All kinds of stuff happening here. Pull this down so I can see. All right. Can I see? No, I cannot. That's not helping. Is that one helping me? No? Is it helping you guys? Get this over here. And I need to see a live view. What the heck's happening here? Need to know what's going on. Okay, I think I got everything worked out. Sharpener. And some no frills pencil sharpeners here. I don't know why I'm keeping this stuff. Maybe for smart. Who knows? I might get enough of these pencil shavings together. I could use them to bark a tree, like a wire tree. I make these wire trees, and sometimes I cover them in things like I'll cover them in paper and make like a bonsai tree, or put a tree house in it or whatever. And sometimes I just leave the wire raw and open. And I'm always thinking of stuff that I can cover the wire with and mixed media. And I think pencil shavings might actually be a good idea. So I'm going to keep that one in mind. Note card that. Speaking of note cards, I have some here because I can't remember anything. I always have to write stuff down. And I'm going to write that down. Cover wire tree in pencil shavings. All right. Remember that one for later. Let's see what I had here. Oh, I got just a few things I'll talk about while I do the sketching here, and I got to get a pen. I guess I wasn't ready yet. I thought everything was over here. Turns out it wasn't. All right, I'm getting close to putting some ink in here, and I started actually putting a figure, which you guys can't see because of that right there. Oh, okay, life's better for y'all. I guess that means I'm ready. I take that thing away. All right, so I have a figure here that I started on. It's going to be walking down this road here. And I kind of messed up a little bit. Well, actually I messed up a lot, and I may have to just scrap this. But I'm going to think about what I can maybe do to fix it. Can you guys spot what I did wrong? And you'll see here is basically the horizon right here. And the vanishing line kind of goes like this. Now, I've got the base of these trunks in the background. They're too low. They're like going, this landscape would have to go down like this, which means the water would spill in. It just doesn't make any sense. So one of the things I think I might be able to do is to put some trees, like maybe they're going up a hill. There's a hill back here, which this looks like a hill. It's going up, but the trees aren't going up with the hill. So I'm going to try and put that indication in. I just don't think I have enough space to work with, honestly. Man, when I was drawing this, I was talking, I was telling stories, I was distracted, I wasn't paying attention. I know those are no excuses, but that's my excuse. So I think I'm just going to have to maybe... I think this one's a big thumbs down. I put a lot of work into this. Some good practice, though. We'll just scratch that one. How about that? Let's start on something new. And talk to you guys. I might actually be able to work on something I've been working on. Yeah, how about this guy here? I don't know what to do with this. I think there's another one under here. I'm so glad you guys stopped by and watched me fiddle around with all this bull crap. Can't tell what's going on. Here's another one that I really like to start with, but I'm not sure. The scale is completely off. Here, I put all this work into these, and I make the stupidest mistakes, and it ends up costing me all this time that I put into the work because I'm not going to be able to finish this one. The tree house is too big. This tree is colossally huge. No human being who loves their children would put a tree house in a tree that's 40 feet off the ground, and that's like how far it would be. So this one is a big thumbs down. I fail a lot. That happens, I guess, when you're a self-taught artist. You're going to fail a lot. And if you enjoy failure as much as I do, apparently, then it's going to be a lot of fun. If you don't enjoy failure, it could be frustrating to the point where you'll quit. And that would be a shame, you know? I'm seeing if I've got any art up here that needs finished. Oh yeah, this guy. We'll work on him. I was going to do this for the Art Addicts Alliance. You guys did my camera catch up? Okay, it looks like it did catch up. I was going to do this for the Art Addicts Alliance, and it's pen and ink. And on YouTube, my channel's mostly about... Oh, I guess I'm on YouTube now. I forget where I'm at. I usually do these feeds on Facebook. But it wasn't working. I'll talk about that later. But I was going to do this for the Art Addicts Alliance, and I decided I would do dry erase art instead, because that's what I started out on Facebook doing. And I'm moving away from that a little bit because I'm starting to get a little burnt out on it. So I'm slowing down a little bit on that, and I'm starting to do a little bit more of other stuff like pencil and ink sketches. So I did this guy. He was supposed to be the spiked man. Has all these growths. And then when I got to dry erase, I was like, well, I can kind of make this a little bit more simply so that it could be adapted to dry erase. So I did Devil Man. And let's see. Do I have an example? I thought I had an example on here. Is that it? No. Is that it? No. Nope. Nope. Oh, there it is. Okay. This guy right here. Yeah, I did him. A lot easier to do in dry erase. And he worked out really well. Kind of has this weird look on his face. But you can watch the video of that being made. And I'm going to be uploading... I'm doing some dry erase art now. And I'm going to upload this being erased. So watch for my next dry erase video. Mr. Ed draws it and erases it. And you'll get to see this erased. Because it's no longer existent. I erased it. So you can check that out. If you enjoy that. If you enjoy an artist euthanizing their child in such a horrible way. It wasn't really euthanizing. I always take prints, or pictures, high quality pictures of my art and scan them and work on that. So they're not lost forever. I'm just going to try and work on some shading on this one and talk to you guys about the Art Addicts Alliance. New theme. One with nature. The voting is over. for this round. So now all we have to do is work on our impressions the next couple of weeks. And I'm embarrassed to say, but I'm going to look it up if I can. I've been having trouble accessing Facebook today. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But you know what? I'll just post it in the description in the description of this live feed once it's up and archived, who our featured artist will be drawing along with us. And I think I know who it is, but I don't want to say and it be wrong, so I'm just not going to say it all. And I'll just post the name down in the description, and be sure to check out their channel, get a little bit of a feel for who they are as an artist, and then that will help grow the anticipation that you're going to have for their impression of One with Nature, which is our theme. And it was a really close vote. So thank you so much to everybody who participated and in the voting, and who have watched the videos for the last one, which was Circus Freaks. And we're going to get those out so you guys can check out this One with Nature theme. Can't wait to see what people do. I can't wait to see what I do, because I have no idea yet. I want it to be really thoughtful. You know, this is where I live. Landscapes, natural landscapes, that's my home. So I think the pressure is on for me, because people are going to really expect something nice with not a messed up perspective and scale all effed up. And so I'm going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful, and probably work on my stuff while I'm listening to the radio instead of running my mouth on a live feed like I've been doing. I've been trying to grow my following on Facebook and doing a lot of feeds on there. And I actually like how they go. I think they're pretty entertaining. People find them entertaining. And you can't access them right now because Facebook has some problems. I woke up to that. I had plans to do a lot of stuff, and I had them all laid out, scheduled in quick order, and couldn't do any of it. I was a Krabby Patty when I woke up this morning. I woke up on my own. Unlike yesterday, I woke up to hammering. But it wasn't long after I woke up the hammering started, so no disappointments there. I think that's supposed to be darker. Alright. Put those horn shadows in. That's what's going to be the most challenging part for me, is trying to figure out where the shadows of these horns are supposed to go. Add to the realism. That's one of the most challenging things for me. Just trying to figure out the angles and the curves. I'm sure there's a method to it that they teach you if you go to school to learn, if you go to art school or take any formal instruction. I'm sure there is a method that makes life a lot easier. But it defies me. But, oh yeah, back to Facebook. I'm sorry, I got lost in my own head for a second. So Facebook wasn't working, and I was getting really irritated. It's still, parts of it aren't working. And then try to find out if something is working or not is hard in itself. So I'm going to all these, is it up or is it down, or, you know, whatever website. And you know what they do? They go to the website. You go, is this working? And they go there and they're like, we were able to log on. Okay, logging on and working are two separate different things. I mean, I can log on to stuff and the shit don't work. So stop giving it to me like that. So eventually I had to search around, and someone was thoughtful enough to post some information about it that they were able to gather. Validated my suspicions that Facebook, you know, at first I thought maybe it's my computer, maybe something's wrong with my browser. So I'm going through the checklist of like 100 things to check on my end, and they're all coming out fine. So eventually I'm like, well, it must be Facebook. And can't get no answers from anybody. You know, Facebook will be the last people to tell you what's going on, and they should be the first. Maybe they're too busy trying to fix it. I don't know. And I'm sure it's probably pretty involved. You know, it's the internet. A lot of stuff going on. I've noticed it's had problems the last week or so. Stability has just been questionable most of the time. But today it was completely down. I'm trying to do stuff on there, all I'm getting is a middle finger from Facebook. And by middle finger, I mean that circle thing that spins around. You want to flip it off. Put that up there. Okay. So I was kind of irritated by that, but I was going to talk about before I got sidetracked with all the extra stuff I had to do, I was going to talk about Facebook has put this thing out. It's called Spot Fake News. Have you guys seen this? Have they said, hey, we think you're an idiot. Can you spot fake news? And then they give us these tips that don't help at all. They really don't help at all. I can appreciate what Facebook's trying to do, but on the same page with the can you spot fake news, there's ads supported by Facebook on the side that are clickbait fake news. So I'm like, what are you asking me for? Do you want me to help you? Facebook, you want me to give you some advice on how to do it? Is that why you're asking? So really, there's no tips for it. There's no 10 steps to spotting fake news. Spotting fake news takes a set of critical thinking skills, being able to identify and understand rhetoric and the power of the rhetoric and how it may have biased or made the article fakey, which that's how they get fakey. There's a lot of rhetoric. Sometimes it's just outright hyperbole. Sometimes it's just straight up lies. But if you're a critical thinker and you have the tools of a critical thinker, you test the veracity of anything you hear, and there's tools to do that. That's how you spot fake news. And this isn't something that you can learn from Facebook. It's something that they should teach you when you go to school, is how to be a critical thinker. But why would you want to why would you want to set your population up for not buying your bull crap? I mean, if you're a leader in a certain country and you're full of shit and you don't want the people to spot that, of course you're going to do what you can to take away their ability to think critically. And one of the ways you do that is by eliminating that curriculum altogether from schools, which I feel like when I went to school there was hardly any critical thinking skills. Rhetoric, I had math classes and stuff like that. I didn't have humanities and literature classes and stuff. So maybe they talked about it there, but it doesn't matter what academic field you're studying, you need to have critical thinking skills, and you need to know what those things are, logical fallacies and what have you. And I just feel like a lot of people don't have them, and that's how fake news gets by. So think critically. Learn how to test the veracity of information. And then you don't need Facebook telling you. In fact, you could probably tell Facebook. Don't want that to be so hard there. Oh, and there was another thing too about Facebook's sharing. I remember kind of like an administrator at a group page, and every post it's like, 2 people saw this, boost this post for $3.99, $4.99, $12.99, whatever it is, $30, whatever amount of money it is, boost this post. And I'm like, what am I boosting anything for? These people came to this site, they clicked follow. When I post something, they want to know, and you best share it. That's how I feel about it, but Facebook's like, no. This is what Facebook is like. Say you go to a park. It's Park Facebook. And in Park Facebook, you're free to open a booth and display your wares. And then you have a little queue line there, right? And then anybody can go to Facebook Park and visit the people that said, hey, I'm going to be at Facebook Park. Why don't you come by and see what I've got to offer there? So you go there to Facebook Park, you go up to your favorite booth, you go to stand in the queue line, and there's Facebook police there. And they're like, piss off. This vendor hasn't paid for you to stand in the queue line. They got to pay for you to stand in the queue line before you can see the stuff that they told you to come and see in free Facebook Park. The analogy, I was trying to think of analogies that would fit what Facebook's trying to do, and that was about the best one. That you got the Facebook police standing in front of your queue, turning people away because you haven't paid for them to come and see your stuff. So Facebook, you're wrong for that. You're so wrong for that, because when you started out, you were like, this is going to be a social platform where people can, share their thoughts and their pictures, and other people can like it or not like it, and it's just going to be dynamic and wonderful. And then as soon as we all get there and start doing the spirit of what Facebook was started for, they're like, okay, now how can we charge people for that? And they picked the wrong way. They picked like the worst way that you could charge people for it. I mean, it's the best way for them, because that's what people are on there for. So I can't even believe it. I'm sure they could find another way to do it. YouTube does. I don't have to pay YouTube for people to see my stuff. I mean, I can. But if I click on a notification, by and large, Facebook doesn't deliberately prevent me from being notified. They have some logistical issues around that, but they're not actively trying to solicit money for notice, as far as I can tell. It's usually more about who sees you and how people share and interact, which is the way it's supposed to be. I ain't paying for that. I already paid. I worked my ass off to make some content that people would find appealing. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So what else did I have to talk about? Oh, the United Airlines update. I posted a video on my Facebook where I talked about this, and I had some points and things that I thought were valid about it. And the attorney for the gentleman, I wish I could remember his name right offhand. The attorney for the gentleman seemed to agree point by point with what I had to say. And I like what the biggest point he agreed with was that Facebook, or not Facebook, see, I'm already got that on my brain. If it's wrong, it's Facebook. United Airlines should have had their ducks in a row. And why impugn the customers when they're sitting there, they're waiting to take off? It was just wrong. Just get your stuff together. Oh, I hate shading. I really do hate shading. I suck at it. I can't see the contours until I've messed them up. I was like, oh, it shouldn't go like that. I'm going to try, and I'll try and embarrass myself in front of you guys. You're probably cringing. You're like, stop. Knock it off. Whatever you're doing right now, stop it. I agree. Try to stop that. Now it looks like my nose. Can't quite see how that's supposed to come up. Can't quite tell how that's supposed to go across. I know that there's general shapes. I see the manga artists do it all the time. They have these general, just pretty much set geometries that you just put in different locations, and that's it. That's the shadow of the nose, that's the shadow of the cheek, that's the shadow of the inner eye. And I'm starting to pick that up a little bit, but I'm not satisfied with a mechanical application of shadow. I want to see it. I want to visualize it and be able to put it in there. And what I want and what actually happens, of course, are two separate things. See, looking shadowed a little bit better. He's starting to come up a little bit. I can see stuff. I'm trying to capture the light coming from this way, and also there's light splashing back a little bit indirect. So I'm trying to get both of those angles. without putting lead all over my picture like I always do. Did I talk about everything? Oh, there was something that I had written down. But I've forgotten now. Alright, maybe it'll come back to me while I'm sketching. I did on my Facebook. Some of those videos are hard to get to right now because my page seems to be really affected by whatever's going on Facebook. And I think it's because of the way that Facebook stores things separately. Like a text post might be stored in one pile of servers, and then videos might be in another pile of servers, and then a live video functionality might be handled by a third party or something else. So I mean, there's definitely something going on when it comes to collating all these different functions within Facebook itself. So some things are working and some things aren't working like they're supposed to, and one of those things is showing what's on my page. I mean, I'm like 3 posts old on my Facebook. That's all I am, and then it just spins for days trying to find what else I'd got going on. So hopefully they get that up and going, because I mean, that's where my fans live. That's where I kind of live a little bit. I do a lot of stuff on Facebook, so if you like following me here, please click the Facebook link and it'll take you to my Facebook page and we'll be friends. And you can follow. I'll follow you. You know, we can hit it off. I have a lot of fans who are now friends of mine that I've met that way, and I just think it's wonderful. And is it worth $303.99 to reach 20 more people? No, it's not. I mean, it is, but then there's the principle of the whole thing that kind of gets in the way. So it's not worth it to me. Facebook's being jerks about it. But here's the thing about Facebook that I'm really excited about and kind of scared at the same time. Facebook Live is a new thing. They're trying to be Snapchat, they're trying to be YouTube, they're trying to be Twitch, they're trying to be these different platforms. They're trying to get this functionality in their platform so that they're not losing time. Viewers, I can appreciate that. They're failing today, though. Maybe they're working on it, whatever. But since it is new, I've never been able to, I've never had the opportunity to really get on the ground floor of anything. I'm always like 3 years behind or whatever. And then I have a great idea. But then that idea has already been beaten to death. People have had it. They've made their millions off of it, whatever. So now Facebook's starting their Facebook Live thing, and I'm trying to get on the ground floor of this. I'm trying to establish, a following. I'm trying to get a brand and think about how I'm going to entertain. I've got to have, it's not enough to just click live and show your boobs or whatever it is. And people aren't sad. They got lots of options, so you got to step it up. You got to offer something entertaining. And on my Facebook Live videos, I've worked in the public for over 20 years and have lots of stories about people. There's just no end to the stories that I have, and you're not even going to believe half of them. And there are people alive. There are people on my Facebook friends. They can verify some of these stories. All of them there. I mean, I think I do have a friend, at least one friend in every instance of every story I tell. They can verify that this stuff's actually happened. And maybe not this. Well, yeah, this one could too. I'll tell you this story real quick. I started working, and I'm friends with the person that this happened to, so I'm not going to say names. But I started a new job in kind of a rough part of town. And I say rough because for a person of my race, if you have no experience, with people who aren't your race, then you're a little nervous. Things are outside your comfort zone. And while I had friends in that, so I wasn't that nervous. But the friends that I have they weren't like gangbangers or anything like that. It was just like regular people, just they weren't, ghetto-y or, whatever you want to say. They're just normal people, like most normal people. That's how they get normal, right? Most people are that way. But this store was a little bit edgier. So my first day, I show up, and it's not a 24-hour store, so it opens at like 6 a.m. And I show up early because I'm opening with somebody who's supposed to be training me, and they're not there yet. 6 o'clock, store's not open. Customers are starting to come up, and they're waiting. I think this was a Sunday morning, and so Saturday night, people were out partying, carrying on. Well, one of the partiers was there waiting for the store to open so he could get some cigarettes or what have you, and I got to talking to him, and he seemed a really nice guy, a little edgy. And after talking to him about 10, 15 minutes, he's telling me a story about how he was just at one of these overnight bring-your-own-beer clubs, and there was some stuff that happened and went down, and he ended up having to pull a gun on some dudes, and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, wow. Then he shows in his waistband, in his back, he's got this big silvery gun. This thing's as big as all outside, and it's in his waistband. I'm like, I'm sitting up here just chit-chatting with some dude. He's got a hand cannon in his waistband, and I have no idea. So finally my coworker gets to work. I'm like, wow. She's like, I'm so sorry I'm late. She is a hot mess. She's trying to pull herself together. You can tell her eyes are all puffy. She's been crying. I'm starting my first day. I ain't even clocked in yet. I got gangbanger here with a big gun in his back. I got my coworker showing up. She looks like she'd done been beat up, crying. And she did. She got beat up by her boyfriend because she had been out drinking and she threw up. And her boyfriend didn't like that she wasted alcohol, and he proceeded to beat the shit out of her and rip her hair out. And she showed me a big gob of hair he ripped out of her head and a patch in it. I was like, oh Lord, what the hell am I doing? Just a normal guy, come from all this. Anyway, I helped that girl get away from this guy. And that was like one of the best things I feel like I've ever done in my life, is help her get away, because I love her. She's a really sweet woman. She's had a lot of issues, and she's made a lot of big mistakes. Like, people sometimes do make mistakes. She's trying to overcome them. I'm so proud of her. And she knows who she is. But first day of work at this store, and that's what I had to go through. And this store was really crazy. I loved the people there. Absolutely loved the people, but you never knew. You never knew what you were going to get involved in. I was robbed there by knife point. Only time I've ever been robbed in 20 years was at that store, and it was at knife point. And I believe I know the customer that did it, but I couldn't tell because they had their face covered. I couldn't tell, but I think this customer would come in regularly afterwards, and he was really nice to me. Isn't that weird? You're robbed by somebody, and then they come in later, and they're all nice to you. But you're not sure that's them. After the fact, I found out that it probably was, because he ended up doing something else very similar. Same sort of thing. I was like, oh, that's probably the guy now that I think about it. He's such a nice guy. I don't know why he robbed me at knife point. Probably needed some drugs. I was like, well, you want paper or plastic? I put that shit in a bag. He went on his way. And that was the end of that. That's coming up a little better. I like that. I sure do. I think I'm doing okay there. Let's try to take out some of these strokes. I don't want it to be so obvious. Just like blend it a little bit better. I don't have a blending pencil. I do. It's in my drawer of mysteries. But I never have time to go through. So I just use the wood part of this pencil and blend that way. And people have been making fantastic art for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they all didn't have Michaels or Hobby Lobby, Dick Blick. So you can get by with it. Just might be a little bit more challenging. You can get by with crappy art supplies. This paper that I was drawing on earlier, it's the worst paper I've ever had in my life. It is absolutely. I could almost write on toilet paper and do a better job. At least I know in that case that it's not for writing on. But this, it's written right on the. It's like you can draw on this dry medium, and then I try to do that. I'm like, you're a damn liar. Well, now I just got to visualize how those horns are supposed to go everywhere. That I should have had this one for the Art Addicts Alliance. I think y'all would have really enjoyed that. But now you can enjoy it live feed as I finish it up. Which I'm going to have to end this live feed because they're out here mowing. Wet, frozen ground. We had like a freeze warning last night. It's all wet. It's been raining all morning. They're out there mowing the back. I hope they're mowing it with like one of those boats they use in Louisiana with the big prop on the back. Because you're not pushing a mower through that. It's like a swamp. Water's leaking out of because the hill goes up so fast, prominently. The water table gets slanted, and in the backyard here is like a spring. It rains too much, it's a spring. Water's running off, which is kind of cool until you're trying to mow it. But yeah, they're coming this way, so I'm gonna have to end this feed. I just had to do a live feed today, just get it out of my system. And I've got a Mr. Ed Draws It and Erases it coming up today. I've got to work on that, but I can't do that live, of course. I got to do that in secret and then reveal it to y'all. And I'll do that later on today, so be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for I wanted to promote some of the other Art Addict Alliances. Illustrations with Eveii, check out. She has a collaboration with Blacksummer Colouring, so be sure to check out theirs. I'll put a link in the description. And also, I think it was Sima Is Drawing had a collaboration with Kai, I think his name. I wish I could remember his last name. Anyway, go to her video. You'll find a link to his. Really cute stuff. Worth checking out. So that's Illustrations with Eveii, Blacksummer Colouring, and Sima Is Drawing. Check out their videos. They got some new stuff. And Juni Farben. Check out Juni Farben. She has a neat one too. I almost forgot about that one. I was watching her video when I got distracted with all of the aggravation of other stuff that I was trying to do. So sorry, Juni. But yeah, go check out hers too. I'll leave links to all of those in the description, along with the featured artist for this month's Art Addicts Alliance theme of One with Nature. So thanks again to everybody who voted and participated in that. Thanks for watching my live video if you have. Live, if you're watching it later, thanks for watching it. If you would, please think about subscribing. Please think about hitting the bell. That helps me a lot. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. I usually reply to all the comments. I try to eventually if I can. So until next time, guys, I love you. I really appreciate you stopping by, and take care.